Coach, a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to know what was different between spring ball and the start of training camp, and you said it was night and day. Well, what's different between training camp and game week? How different is it?
Well, we're getting closer. Today will be the first day we really, start on Sam Houston for the first 20 practices this camp, and and all the walkthroughs, spring practice, summertime when these guys are out there by themselves. It's all about us getting better as a team, and I think they're to the point where they're sick of that. I mean, they're ready to hear about Sam Houston. They're ready to start working on Sam Houston, but that's the way it is everywhere in the country. So I can see progress, no question about it. I think I heard Kyle say, sometimes it looks like the defense has the upper hand, sometimes the offense, and that's the way it is. I mean, there was one day, we had a deep ball period where we just were throwing up shots, post corners, and it's wideouts and DBs, and who could go make a play, whether they were covered or not covered, and the offense whooped them big time. And so I was getting on the defense and making fun of them. And then the other day we came out, we were in the red zone, and the offense went like 1 for 14 out of 15 plays, and Tafon was talking to him, and I went over there and I started talking to the offense, and so it goes back and forth. But I do think that we've gotten better, no question about that. I think they've kind of learned what we want to do offensively and defensively, and they got a good idea what we want to have, and our guys have gotten better. It's a hard-working group. I've said that since I've been here. These guys come out to practice. They work hard. It's important to them. So today we'll touch on Sam Houston a little bit, and then obviously next week it'll be full go for that.
Coach, in your situation, when you are installing offensive and defensive schemes for the team, how much is it preparing to better yourself, and how much is it preparing for Sam Houston State?
Well, it's the spring and camp has been nothing but how are we going to get better. And that was the main focus of it. I know these guys are probably sick of it by now, no question about that. They're probably ready to go line up against anybody, and they would be happy. But but that's the way it's got to be. I mean, if you're saying that all we're going to do is try to get ready for this team or that team, and you're not working on fundamentals, you're not doing it the right way. And so, we'll have 6 or 7 practices to prepare, get our guys ready to have their eyes in the right place, to execute the way they're supposed to, and that's probably about what you need.
Coach, a lot of these players on your team have experienced big games. 2 years ago, James Madison, I know you weren't here, but ESPN College Game Day, and then last year a couple games against James Madison, William & Mary, stuff of that nature. How does that help this week going into a top 10 matchup for you as a head coach to have players who are able to put the blinders on and keep the distractions out?
Yeah, it helps a lot. It really does. I think this team has a lot of confidence. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to win a football game, but I do think they're confident. They've been in this, they've been in big game situations, and just like you mentioned, the College Game Day, which I was watching and thought that was incredible. But so they are used to it. We've got a lot of veterans too. I mean, offensively, we are extremely experienced. Defensively, we got a lot of experience. So, but the one thing is the scary part for me that I think about all the time is, how are they going to react? I think we've got playmakers. I think we've got good players. Kyle Aletta throws a deep ball better than anybody I've ever been around. Our wideouts can go get it, running backs. So we've got players. How are they going to adjust to us during the course of a game, both offensively and defensively? Are they going to be able to execute what we're asking them to do? They executed it last year at a high level, both sides of the ball, and are they going to execute what we're asking them to do? I think they will, no question about it. But that's what keeps me up at night for sure.
Is it a little nerve-wracking to figure that out against the number 3 ranked team in the country on national television when you're the only game in the country that night?
Yeah, I'd rather be playing Savannah State, to be honest with you. So anybody, and I'm not going to lie. If we can go out there and get a layup your first game, that would be fantastic. We're not getting a layup. We're it's a 3-quarter shot here on this one, but I think the one thing is when you play a quality opponent, I do think it helps preparation, but it's the same way with Sam Houston State. I think they know we got a good football team and an excellent program, and we know they got a great football team and an excellent program. So I think it's helped us. When you're working out in the summertime and you don't feel like doing it, all you got to do is think about, hey, we're playing Sam Houston State. And I think it motivates your guys to maybe practice a little bit harder, maybe work a little bit harder, maybe watch a little bit more film than a team that you should beat. And so I think it probably helps you get better to open up with a big-time team. But, I'd rather play somebody that, we can roll the ball out there and just come home with a W pretty easily.
Hey, Russ, Kyle talked, the guys watched the JMU Sam Houston game. How much have you and your coaches relied on being on the other side of the field from Sam Houston in your last game last year, you and your coaches that you brought over here? How much will that help you?
Well, it'll help us, but it'll also help them too, because they'll have a good idea of what we're trying to do. I don't know if we get an advantage on that. I think what you got to do, and our coaches are going to do, is we're going to look at, especially on the defensive side of the ball, teams that do things similar to what we do. So there's 4 or 5, 6 games that we're going to really specifically hone in on, and Chattanooga just happens to be one of them, and that'll be part of the breakdown, obviously, but there's going to be 6 or 7. Also, there's a new offensive coordinator at Sam Houston State, so now we got to get Nevada film. We got to plug that in somewhere. The year before that, he was at, I think, Montana State, so we've plugged some of that in too. So you got a wide variety of things that you're going to look at, and I know they got a new defensive coordinator, but he was on the staff last year, so it's a little different, I think, offensively and for our defense.
What's this week like for you? New head coach, obviously you've done this before, but again, on a big stage, and it's I guess this is just what's like for you on game week leading the program.
Well, it really hasn't been a whole lot of difference right now through spring and summer and camp. I believe, starting tomorrow, our players have the day off tomorrow. Coaches will be in, and tomorrow will be, and kind of we kind of game planned over the summer, but it's really not the same. But we kind of got a scouting report over the summer. But I think right now, tomorrow, when we're in there, the lights are out, and the coaches are just in there hours and hours and hours. For us, it's like, we practice, we come in, watch the practice film, we meet with these guys about the practice film, we go eat, we come back, we meet with them again for the next day's practice, we have a team meeting, we have a walkthrough, and everything is just, it's just everything about our team. And I think starting tomorrow, it's going to be, when the lights are turned out, and it's time to kind of figure out how to put you guys in the best possible position. I think that's kind of when it's probably going to hit me.
Coach, you have a lot of skill players across the entire offense, but specifically Tyler Wilkins. He's an LC Burr graduate from here in the area. Do you sense or see that passion he has for the area and for the school as it relates to that, as he gets ready to maybe become a primary target for Kyle Laletta this season?
Well, all I remember about Tyler is the catch he made against North Dakota last year. Big-time catch in a big-time game in a big-time situation, and that's what big-time players do. And so that's kind of all I needed to know about Tyler Wilkins, that he'll go up and get it and he'll make a play when it's his time to. So there's some people you don't know if that's ever going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen. And that was the one that I saw, and I was actually watching the game, and I mean so the guy can make plays, no question about that, and we're fortunate to have him here, no question.
Do you think you have to say much to Kyle to calm his nerves for Sunday night? This will be his first game against somebody else since last November.
You know, I don't know. I've never been around Kyle in game time situations. I wouldn't expect it. He seems pretty cool. I mean, you guys have been around him a lot longer than I have, and it doesn't seem like he ever gets rattled in practice. You know, when coaches correct him and get after him, he doesn't get rattled. So I don't think the moment's too big for him, for sure. Now, there are going to be some young pups running around out there for the first time. You know, we may have to point the field to them as we hit the sideline. You know, it's that way, guys. Go that direction, and you'll be ready to play. I don't think Kyle's one of those guys.
I mean, in regards to this will be his first game since the injury.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think he's excited, no question. You know, he probably felt a little bit like he let the team down last year when he got injured. And I know he's going to be chomping at the bit. JJ, Gerald Jordan, is going to be excited to play. There'll be a bunch of them that didn't play. Xavier Goodall, chomping at the bit. Gordon Collins, those guys. You know, it's been a long rehab process for all those guys, and I think they'll all be excited to play. And you know, but again, I don't know. I think he's pretty calm and collected. I think it's probably another game for him, another opportunity.
Coach, are there any other positions that are still up for grabs right now? Should be pretty set.
I think right now we're getting close. Right now we're trying to get 3 or 4 freshmen ready to play that are probably going to play. And what kind of role they have early is going to be how well they continue to progress this week. That's going to be big. Probably one of the linebacker positions. Madison Day's a starter right now, but Dale Matthews can push him, and Dale's played a lot of football. So that one will be, you know, fluid probably the whole season by who plays well. But they'll all 3 play. I mean, we'll roll 3 linebackers in there. But you know, other than that, you know, the wideouts, there's so many wideouts that you know, you can run people in there left and right and have some fresh legs. You know, I think every wideout kind of views himself, you know, there's probably 6 or 7 that all view themselves as starters, which is probably the right way to think about it. The running backs, Deontay Thompson will start, but we know, you know, we've seen a lot of great things out of Gordon and Xavier. And again, you got fresh legs, you know, just keep pounding at people, and fresh wide receivers. I think offensively, we have that luxury. Defensively, we're not at that luxury right now. You know, defensively, you know, we're going to have probably some guys that'll suck it up and play probably more plays that you'd want them to play in Texas, but offensively, I think we can roll people quite a bit.
If you can, just expand on how last year's injury bug that just hurt this team significantly made it a little deeper offensively this year.
Well, you know, there were some injuries, but you know, a couple injuries that hurt him probably. David Jones, he was so special last year. But the bottom line is Gordon Collins and then Xavier Goodall went down, and Richmond had a pretty good back. I mean, it wasn't a whole lot of drop-off, probably no drop-off. You know, the guy rushes for over 1,000 yards and is really, really good. So I don't know if that really hurt Richmond. You know, Kyle went down and Kevin Johnson was really, really good, and we think Kevin Johnson's an excellent player. So I don't know with that, but if you look at a position that I would say probably, you know, hurt them a little bit would have been on the defensive side of the ball with David Jones, because he was such a star player. You know, and he was obviously real good. He's with the New England Patriots right now. You know, they probably had some injuries on defense that probably affected them more than on the offensive side of the ball, because they had so many. They were so deep at so many positions when they took those injuries. I mean, I think they stayed pretty healthy on the offensive line, which they needed to, and that helped them last year. You never want to lose anybody, but you know, I think they survived because they had some guys step up that were pretty good players. I don't even know, I can't remember the question. I talked for so long there. Was that actually answering it? I don't even
That's
know.
how the injuries last year maybe made them deeper offensively.
Well, obviously at running back, because I don't think Deontay Thompson would be the player he is right now if those two guys would have stayed healthy. I could have just answered that and been done in 5 seconds.
But you gave both sides, which was good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank you,
y'all.